Darin Scheff. Congratulations on the new album, Let's Stop the World. It came out a couple days ago. Have you read any reviews yet?
I think I read not in the last couple of days, but I think I got one review from a couple of weeks ago when we first let like a single out or something like that. Yeah, so I haven't read any of the latest reviews in the last 48 hours now.
How
How
long did
about you?
I,
Yeah.
I I listened to the album, but I didn't do a review yet. But I did listen to the whole album a couple of times, and I have a favorite track. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, keep the suspense.
Cool,
Where are
cool.
you located?
I'm in New Jersey, next to New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, man. So you're here in the States.
Yep. Definitely, definitely. So tell me, how long did this album take to actually, be released from when you start?
It probably about 2.5 years, believe it or not. Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, yeah, I mean everybody's it's kind of crazy, is with all the talent over there and
Right.
it's crazy. Like you got these insane musicians like, Morris Adrians and Kristen Toll, but everybody has regular jobs. Like imagine this guy's like a banker, the keyboard player guy, Adrian's like it's like insane. He's like said, both of them, but it's just crazy to think like they're in there all like me. I have my own little businesses. I do my thing, but I can just see like these guys. I don't know. They might have to go to work in suits, but when they get behind those instruments, man, they're just like freaks of nature. It's crazy what these guys do. So,
Yeah. A lot of people think, because you put out an album, all of a sudden you're like a superstar, can play like thousands of, in their mind, they think that, you know,
oh, wait, what'd you say? They think what?
they think that since you put an album out, you're a superstar, they think you don't have to ever work no more and, everything else.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's different for like for me in particular, like I've already walked on the moon. I've had my Hollywood career years ago and I had good amount of success and not just music, but other business. I'm a retired hairdresser and makeup artist from the film industry in Hollywood. A lot of people
wow.
don't know that. Yeah, I worked on a lot of MTV videos like Stevie Nicks, The Cars, obviously Chicago and guys from Toto and all these bands. So I mean, I'd be working on a Stevie Nicks video, the I Can't Wait video. And the next day my publisher's going, she's looking for songs. I'm thinking, I was just with them yesterday for 48 hours doing 2 days of a, video shoot. But anyway, that was a whole different thing. But
Cool, cool. Yeah. I'm retired too, so I can do what I want, you
isn't
know?
that nice?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
still I'm still working. I'm just retired from those industries.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I
No,
choose to kind of do what I do. So,
yeah. I'm retired. I'm a caregiver now. So like I
oh,
take my money from that because my son's not well. So I take care of him all day. I'm glad because I'm home all day,
oh, nice.
you know,
So,
so
how old's your son?
28,
Wow.
he's 28, I'm 68, you know. So
I'm 63 and I kind of know what's already, I got this vertigo. I'm afraid to change the cat litter box. I'm afraid I'm going to fall in it. I don't even have a cat, but honestly, it's like seriously, I got to like watch where I walk and, cognitive things are like blurred out a little bit. I'm thinking, God, I grew up as a surfer skateboarder with all this agility and like, I got to watch where I walk now. I get dizzy.
oh
Like,
wow.
I
Wow.
got to be careful getting in the shower, I'm
Wow.
like, what the heck?
Wow.
But
I would go ahead. I would say the worst thing about being retired is that the wife leaves you a note every day, you know, what got to be done, you know.
that's true. It's funny because I have this little store and it's just right outside of Nashville. It's in one of my properties and we sell these flower baskets, and
Right.
these flower baskets are, seasonal. We go up till Mother's Day and then these big, beautiful baskets. And
Right.
this guy was probably in his like 80s with his beautiful wife. You can tell they've been married forever. And she was like, hey, honey. She's like, I like those two baskets. And this old guy kind of got over there and he picked them up. He was hunched over. And just when he was getting ready to put them down, she goes, well, wait a minute. I didn't see those flowers over there. And he goes, okay. And he started, she goes, but wait, I still want one of those. And he's like, oh, and he's going back this
Right.
way
Yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm going, look at this beautiful couple. And the guy looks at me and goes, hey, you know what's worse than her picking out flowers? I go, what? And he goes, tile. And I went,
Wow.
but
Wow.
it was funny because thank God they pick out the tile. I'd pick out the ugliest tile and my wife would match it to the color of the wall. So I got the humor in it, but there is truth to why they do this stuff so well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's music related. It's just funny stuff.
Cool, cool, cool. Now you're on Pride and Joy. Tell me how'd you hook up with them and what kind of company is that?
Well, I don't know like the extent of it. I know that Christian Toll,
Uh-huh.
he's the one that had the connection over there with them.
Right,
And so, we were kind of just starting off, gonna just probably do like 5 or 6 songs. And the next thing you know, Christian was talking to them. They go, well, you need at least 8 songs. So if
right.
we're going to do something with you, so I think it was 8 or 9 or something like that. So I had a bunch of stuff, and we just started kind of throwing some stuff around. But apparently, Bridget, the owner of Pride and Joy,
Right.
she purchased that a couple of years ago from some other like company that was pretty successful. I think a lot of AOR stuff from the
Yeah.
West Coast
I
here.
think that was the name of it, AOR Heaven.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's
Right.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so she picked up on that. So she kind of is carrying the torch with that, but just kind of rebranded it. But it's the same, spirit, the same concept. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, she sends me a lot of bands and stuff, and she puts out some quality stuff, you know.
Yeah, she
I'm
does. Yeah.
very happy with her, you know. So let's go to the album cover. Who decided on that cover?
Well, we all started talking about it and throwing ideas around. And um, I'm trying to remember exactly how it all came about, but we had the title "Let's Stop the World" on this
Right.
song. And so Christian, I think, was the guy that got the idea of the Doors with
Right.
everything behind it. So yeah, he kind of spearheaded that, and we all loved it. And we go, oh wow, that's nice. So once again, you're letting somebody who kind of has that gift kind
Right.
of follow that. I think there was original some talk about some ideas and it spawned some stuff, but ultimately Christian was the guy that put that together.
Right. Is this band considered a studio project, or will you do shows?
Well, it's funny you ask that because um, I've really, a lot of the music on this coming, from those guys over there, not so much Christian, he's more of a hard edged rocker guy. I'm not. I come from the Toto Foster, Chicago,
Right.
pop scene. And so I really, it's funny because this for me, I don't sing like a whole heck of a lot.
Right.
But I had to chameleon my voice on so much of this stuff, and it was fun. It was like, okay, this is our Def Leppard sounding song, you
Mhm.
know. So I had to literally morph my voice, and I had to punch myself in and go, okay, I almost got that. Or
Uh,
it could be like an Angus Young thing in the chorus. I'm like, okay, let me get more grit, and I
yeah.
and I, so I mean, if I had to go sing that live, it would be impossible for me because I had to really, like I said, morph
Right.
my voice for a lot of these tunes. There's a good amount of them that are me, and
Right.
even in all those, they're me. But I had to really, and I loved that about it. It was really
Right.
crazy going, oh, let me try and sound like Joe Elliott here from
Yeah. Yeah.
Def Leppard, and how would he sing this? And it
Right.
was really, really good, like fun process.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go down some of the tracks and give me a little insight into some of the songs. Let's start off with Headstone on the Highway.
Okay. So Headstone on the Highway, I started that track. I had, probably a good amount of that started, and I was inspired by that. And I had that just sitting around over here with me. I never
Right.
finished it. It's been around for maybe a year and a half before we started this project. But I originally was thinking Deep Purple, that's where my mindset was with
Right.
that, and that's how I got inspired by that. And then I had uh, I had the lyrics and I sent it over to Christian, and then they both listen to it and they both contribute to it,
Mhm.
and we just polish them off that way. So Headstone on the Highway is just kind of your tribute to we've all been driving down the road. So when I was thinking about this lyric, it's like, man, it just makes you sad sometimes when you're driving down the road and you see a cross on the road and somebody's
Right.
life ended right there, and So even though it says Headstone on the Highway, it's really a cross on the highway, but that's how Headstone works a little bit better to sing. But ultimately, that's what that song is a tribute to all these people that have sadly passed away,
Right.
and wrecks and morose as that sounds, but it's a tribute to these beautiful people. And, you see them, everybody drives by there and it just tugs your heart when you see
Yeah.
those. Sometimes not even one cross, you might see two or
Right.
three,
Yeah.
so that's kind of where that song came from lyrically for me. And yeah, but musically, it was that old school Deep Purple vibe. And not that it ended up like that, or I sound like Glenn Hughes or,
Right.
anybody like that, but
Right.
they're the inspirations, those guys.
Well, let's go to track number two. Let's stop the world.
Yeah. Um, if I remember correctly, that was spearheaded by Adrian Morris. I'm
Right.
sorry. Yeah. And it was great. These guys, for me, it's really great because when you're collaborating with people, it's a
Right.
little bit different when you're doing it the way we did. We'd send each other files because they're over there in Europe.
Right.
I'm here. The only thing I kind of regret about this whole project, and there's nothing I could do about it, is I wish I was in the same room with these guys.
Right. Yeah.
Because you get ideas and you go, hey, that's great. Maybe or they could do the same to me. Hey, maybe sing the last part of that line and do this. So there's something beautiful about creating music and be able to send files, but there's
Right.
something that's just so magical. And I wish these guys are so talented. I wish I could have been in the same room with them,
Right.
just kind of like polishing this stuff up on the spot. Probably could have
Right. Yeah.
got things done faster, but that's kind of what you get. But anyway, that's kind of that with that track. Yeah, he did a beautiful job, and they both did, just spearheading that stuff. And then of course I have to write all the lyrics and the melodies to these songs.
Right.
And that's really kind of more of my strong point. I'm
Right.
pretty good at playing and stuff, but not a virtuoso. But my brother's touted. My brother's got more hooks in a tackle box, years ago, and
Right.
so I kind of take that to heart. But I believe that's my strong point anyway, musically. That's why I had a publishing deal, and I'm more of a writer than a performer guy.
Let's go track number three. How do I get over you?
Yeah, that's another ballad that was presented and
Uh-huh.
started off all beautiful, with that piano, and
Right. Yeah.
it's just gorgeous. And I had this idea for this lyric in my head. I didn't know how I was going to finish it off, but how do I get over you? Getting over me. I
Right.
mean, you
Yeah.
think of the title, How Do I Get Over You? It's almost kind of like so cliche, but then how do I get over you? Getting
Right.
over me. And so I've had that title probably for 10, 15 years in my head.
Wow.
Never did anything with it. And when that track came through, I knew that belonged to that track. And that's another, Morris thing, man, just that beautiful piano, beautiful setting it up emotionally and that was nice for me. I was like, I didn't have to think about that music. I could just think about the melodies and the lyrics. And when you get something that beautiful, it certainly inspires you.
Definitely. Track number four. Walk through the fire.
Yeah, Walk Through the Fire, I wrote that song by myself. And I love Brian Adams. And that's the guy that inspired me for that song, was
Right. Yeah.
Brian Adams. I
Cool.
mean, gosh, he's like one of the all-time greatest pop, hook melody guys. And so that's what got me in that direction. So, that was one I just kind of all popped out by myself. And that was one of the songs I think we ended up adding to get to our 8 songs. So
Right.
I was throwing songs in at the end, and some of them are just me, but most of them are collaborating with those guys.
Cool. Track number five. What love's done to us, which is my favorite track.
Okay, yeah, that obviously you hear that's a big nod to Def Leppard, right?
Yeah.
That was we needed the 8th song, and I had written that hook. I had the lyrics. Maybe I didn't have the lyrics, but I had the chorus, and I sent it over. I had the music, and I sent it over to Christian because we needed a song. And it was and I had all the vocals layered up in the chorus. I actually had a different lyric, and it was
Right.
Um, oh gosh, it was a lyric that somebody goes, that sounds a lot like Tina Turner. And what's love got to do with it?
Right. Yeah.
That was my title, well, it has everything to do with it. Versus her song was like, what's love got to do with it? It's a secondhand emotion. It's like, no, love's got everything to do with it. But even so, my idea lyrically going in a positive direction versus, the her direction, my melody wasn't exactly the same or anything, but just too many people were saying, hey, there's a song out there. So at the 11th hour, I changed it. I re-sang everything and I sent it to Christian, and Christian did this killer thing that I didn't have done, which was the solo section where it breaks down with the toms. And, that was like the piece that was missing, and he kind of tied it up. That was the last song that we did. I mean, we threw that in there and boy, I banged that out and he banged it out. That was like done, but we modeled it specifically like that would be like on any of those like early records,
Right. Yeah.
from
Definitely.
those guys. So it was fun to do. And all those, big stacked vocals was Mutt Lang vocals.
Right.
But I'm glad that you love that tune. I do too. I
Yeah.
wish Joe Elliott or one of those guys could hear that and just go,
Yeah. That's great. I listened to it over and over again. So, you
I
know,
did too this morning.
yeah, it's my favorite track. Yeah.
Good, man. It's good to
Well,
hear.
track number 6, Let's Rise.
Right, yeah. So Let's Rise, I think was one of the first songs that we got done. I was on vacation or a business trip with my wife, and we're in a hotel room, and I had the track, and it was late at night, and my wife was unwinding, and I put, some noise canceling headphones on, and I was sitting there and I was listening to the track, and I started just writing the melody and the lyrics right there on the spot. And I had that whole melody and lyric done probably in 30 minutes. It was one of those tracks that just floop, and what's crazy, I didn't even have a way to dictate and record what I was thinking. But
Right.
my wife's like, what were you doing last night? Because she could just hear me going, like I was trying to like sing the
Right.
melodies, all she could hear, but I wasn't singing, I was just in my head, like,
Right.
you know. And she was like, what's all that noise and that whispering? And I'm like, I was just singing all these melodies. So that track, I love that track. And that was one of the first ones that I banged out over on my end. And
Right.
these guys spearheaded that music. And so that was a great track because that really got me fired up. Like, wow, I wish, and you hear every songwriter say this, I
Right.
wish they all came out that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They all have their songs. That one was the one that just flew out. There was about two or three of them that right off the gate that were like that. But yeah, I love that.
Wow.
I love it, man.
Is that your favorite track on the album?
Um, it's funny. I've been listening to it lately over the last few days, and it's funny. A lot of stuff that I didn't think, I was like, would be quote my favorite track. They're all
Right.
starting to grow on me in a weird way. So I'm trying to sort it all out, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, but I'll get back to that as we get through this and we talk about the rest of these tunes, and then we'll circle back around to some of that.
Cool. 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 Track number 7, Rain.
Rain. Yeah, so Rain's a song that I wrote with Christian probably 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, he was doing his Christian Tolle project, and where he had like Tim Pierce and all those great studio guys from LA playing on his stuff. And the original version of Rain, I wrote the lyrics and melody to, and I didn't sing it. I just sent it back to them, and he had some singer over there in Germany or something do it,
Right.
and it was just sitting around. So once again, he goes, "Hey, how would you like to do a version of Rain?" And I go, "Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I wrote the thing, and so then we jumped into it. I had my little brother Lauren, who's a monster bass player. He played a great bass part on it on the original version. And
Right.
then, so I said, hey, you got to play on this. My little brother Lauren played on two tracks
Mhm.
and bass. And so he played on that. And then I added some extra like background vocals to it. I kind of changed the melody a tiny bit here I think the first verse, but not much. And yeah, it was nice just pulling that out of the closet and dusting it off and getting a new clean version. And that's how that song came about.
Cool. Track number 8, Fly.
Yeah. Um, so that piano part and everything in the beginning,
Right,
all that stuff. Yeah, I had spearheaded that song and I had that sitting around. You hear those guitars are really Landau, do 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 do. It's like the piano is I was kind of going for more of this David Foster thing. These guys bring a little bit heavier of an,
right.
edge to it. So it switches a little bit from that. But originally that was kind of my pop thing, just naturally going there. And then the guitars down, down, I was going for that Landau tone and Mike Landau song. But anyway, I had all that and I passed it over to those guys, and then they completed some sections that I didn't have in that song. And yeah, then I'd get an arrangement and uh, yeah, it's another one of those songs, sadly, the two were like getting in depth over. But yeah, it was a fun song and it was great to have these guys like contribute something musically that I couldn't think of and polish it up like that. But yeah, Fly, I love it. I was one of the very first songs, one of the first vocals I did, and it lit me up because like I said, I don't sing a lot,
Right,
but that one right there, it came out pretty easy for me
right.
and gave me some confidence. And I'll circle back around to the singing thing in a minute and make you laugh and tell you how I've learned how to use my voice a little bit. But yeah,
Cool. Track number 9, Standing on the Edge of the World.
yeah, yeah, that song. Um, I think I'm so confused right now, but didn't my brother Jason play bass on that one?
He
No,
might
Let's
have,
Stop the World. Yeah, my brother Jason played Let's Stop the World. Yeah, Standing on
right,
the Edge of the World. So Standing on the Edge of the World, um, that was another song that I just started pounding out on my own. I had it written and I was thinking, you know, I was going after that Toto kind of thing and and we needed another song. There was another one, and I just like sent it over to these guys, and they like went, "Oh yeah, that'd be work great." So
right.
it was another song I had just sitting around. I didn't have it sitting around. I actually just wrote that song, and it
Uh-huh.
just came out. So yeah, it was that was one of those tunes, but we needed another song. So here we were at the 11th hour, and that one kind of got in there, and I had it ready to go pretty much, and then they tweaked it out a little bit.
Cool. So were there any extra tracks uh, you wrote or sung on that you planned on this album but didn't make the cut?
No, I was scrambling, just trying to get what I needed to get done because, um, you know, working like this is
Right,
fun. And those guys over there are so organized with their files, with their folders, and I'm the most unorganized guy. I'd like download their tracks or going here, and then I'd be like, what folder did I put that in? And I'm putting the wrong ones in, or here's the wrong MIDI files. I mean, when you do that, these guys do that stuff all the time. So, and me, I've never really done that,
right,
so, I just, so I was like scrambling, just trying to wait, send those files back over to me. Or another example would be like, I'd get like a verse on a song and not come back to it for like 5 months. And then I grab the mic and I go to sing something into it. But I didn't have the exact, settings, even though I might have been using the same mic, but for some reason, maybe the compressor had gotten off and the tone sounded different in part of this verse. So, I mean, you're trying to fix a few things and there's kind of like, and then I'd lose the file. Musicians watching this are probably going to laugh when they hear that and go, oh yeah, I can relate to that.
yeah,
But all that creates to the chaos and trying to get things done. And thank God Christian is like a super like patient guy and
right,
more than willing to send me back tracks like can you send that to me? I've lost those. So I'm grateful that I had somebody like him, and he was the guy that really kind of organized everything and kept everything, especially in the end, taking the last lap. He was just like, all right, guys, we're down to this, and this. But yeah, it was a process. It was fun, and I'll be much more prepared the next time I try it. I won't do a whole project. It's like, let's get one song done, let's
right.
finish it, and put it to bed. And we could, this was part of the learning process, but doing that much material. So for me,
You foresee another album with you
you
guys?
know what? I don't see an album, but we all discussed that, individually, it would probably be in our best interest to just do one song, nail it, and release it. And
Right,
we could do that, and probably will do that. But that's probably so it won't be an album,
right,
but it'll be a release, and that way it's just kind of fun because we can get them done faster. We can get them out. They'll probably come together easier, quicker, and
right. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I noticed a lot of bands lately are only putting out singles, and when they have enough for an EP, they take all the singles and put it on the EP, or have enough singles to make an album. Then they put the album out, and then the album they do vinyl and they do all different kind of colors and stuff like that, and they number them, and that's amazing. But it must not be easy, you know?
you know what? That would be easier. I mean, to hear you even say that, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Why try and whack out a whole thing?
Right,
Like get a song out there. That way, your people aren't waiting. I mean, people are like, when's your CD coming out? It's like,
right,
and so yeah, if you can just whack out one song, they're getting
right,
something regularly. It keeps them motivated,
right.
keeps them excited. So these are all part of the lessons of learning, with doing this stuff. And if you're just a musician
Uh-huh.
and you don't have children or day gigs or grandchildren or anything like that,
Uh,
or even if you do, you can just sit there. If your livelihood is music, you have all day to sit there and do that, and you could probably get an album done. But
right.
you know,
Okay.
yeah,
And people I talk to, musicians, they put out one song every 3 months. And I asked him, well, why didn't you put the album out? He says, why? Because like if we do one every 3 months, the attention span on a lot of people are not long. So that's why they do only one song every 3 months. And at the end of the year, they do the EP. So,
it makes sense. I know it's something that, like, with my business that I have, my son laughs because I'm like he calls, he's like, Dad, you're an influencer. I mean, that's a word that's, it lasts 5 to 10 years, like an
right.
influencer.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because I know what an influencer is, but I'm a boomer influencer. I mean, you think of an influencer as some young kid, but it's crazy how that, and you're right, the attention span. And
Right.
so, I see they go, oh, they want to see these little, like reels. They don't want to see, and and it's funny because we all kind of get accustomed to that where you're looking at the reels now. We're just like going through them. But I
Right.
notice when people want to monetize
Right.
their products on Facebook or Instagram or any of those TikTok, the
Right.
idea, the way you monetize more is to have them hang around longer so they can throw more ads at them. I'm learning all this stuff right now. It's really crazy. So it's like, what happened to the attention span of being 3 seconds? So
Right.
the people that are really monetizing the most, and I'm finding out, no matter what the industry is, music, dog walking, whatever it is,
Right.
they got to keep those people engaging. That's why you see so much controversial stuff on the internet. It's so sad, but
Right.
anything to agitate people, and I've realized I'm gonna have a little market in Nolensville, Tennessee, called the Nolensville Feed Mill Amish Country Market. It's one of my buildings, my historic buildings that I purchased years ago. And I can throw a picture up of a bologna sandwich
Uh-huh.
and get more people pissed off about that. Like, how dare you throw grass clippings on that? It's like,
Yeah.
that's lettuce.
Yeah.
Like, you don't ruin a bologna sandwich. You don't do it with that cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane. And you're going, wow. And, that's what it's all that chit chat.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
I'm using a bologna sandwich as an example, and it gets blown up,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, or you could be a knitting group for, like, how to knit. And it's like,
Yeah.
someone's in there going, you don't start the first one by going over the top. Well, what kind of idiot taught you? It's like, well, my grandmother taught me. It's like, well, your grandmother's stupid. It's like, next thing you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, it's like anything to just get the fuel going. And that's what gets the likes. That's what gets the
Right.
comments going. That's what gets the money going. So it's horrible. Musicians don't think like that. They're like, not like, let me agitate my group base so I can get them
Right.
talking. Probably would. Hey, you don't like my song? Good. I don't like you. Hey, F you. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anything, I mean, we don't do that in our industry, but yeah,
Right.
any other, you've seen it all on there. You could
Yeah,
be in a
yeah,
carnivore group. How dare you ruin that rib I've been putting it on a grill? You put that on a cast iron skillet,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. So what's your feelings about AI music and how much it's going to hurt the music industry?
this is a funny topic, and um, it's like when drum machines came around, people go, oh, that's it for the drummers.
Right, yeah,
But the drummers that were actively working were going, no problem. Let me figure this out. And they were using them to program these drums.
right,
The drums can't do it. Even AI is like, and I've used it for, some things, but what I love about it personally myself is that like I've taken some old demos and refreshed them with AI. So
right,
AI's not creating anything for me. It's actually, plagiarizing everything we've all done already. That's how it gets its ideas. So
right,
it's actually taking all of our ideas, the music ideas, the lyric ideas from everybody from back in the 40s and 50s all the way up to today. So I mean,
right,
it's really, and it depends. I mean, some people use it because they have no music ability. To
right,
me, I can throw in like an old demo, refresh it, which I've done, and people are like, my God, that sounds good. It's like seconds later, but it's all my melodies, it's all
right,
my stuff. And for that, I don't want to re-record it. And by the way, I might not have the voice that I want. So that's one of the great things for a specific song. I can choose a voice to sing it. So for a guy like me, I use it as a tool like that. And when I hear the AI guy singing,
right.
my melody, there might be a small little thing that is holding some vibrato, get a little more breathy on a line that I never would have, that I didn't do originally. I go,
Right.
oh, so it's still, unless you're the writer, you wouldn't know the difference. Like if you listen to the song Hold On that I wrote, which is
Uh-huh.
out there on the internet, and then you listen to the latest version, it's polished, but you listen to all the parts are exactly what I played. And you can tell AI to do that, or you can tell it to have fun with this.
Right. Yeah.
So ruin the industry. It's kind of like it's inspirational for me because it makes me want to get back down into my studio and go, oh, that's great. Not rely on it. It's just if I was trying to finish a lyric up and I needed one word and I'm stuck, somebody could typically go to a thesaurus. That's what they would do. They would go to a thesaurus or a rhyming dictionary or
Right.
whatever it is. Well, that's what's great about AI. It's like, hey, I need a rhyme with this word. Give me 50 of them. And it's better to get that and have AI spit it out for you. And you go, oh, I couldn't even have gotten that any other way. And so if I was sitting across the room co-writing with you, I'm like, I can't get this word. And you go, well, have you thought of this? Or maybe we could try this and be like, oh, that's great. Well,
Well,
what's the difference? I mean, it's not doing all the work for me. It's if you were to write a book and you had a ghostwriter, right?
yeah.
Oh my God, that's not you. There's a ghostwriter. It's like that's a real human being. The ghostwriters used to be the
Right.
human being,
Right.
but it's somebody who can phonetically and grammatically, and do everything and embellish what you've got. And so, I mean, people have been using human ghostwriters forever.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so, I mean, I understand it's a double-edged sword. So it's not an easy topic to discuss, but that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, don't rely on it for me. I don't need it,
Uh-huh.
but I can be inspired by certain things. And just like the drum machines, you know how many drum machine parts I did on all my demos in the 80s? Almost
Sure.
every one of them.
Wow.
I couldn't afford I couldn't afford Jeff Porcaro or John Robinson back in the day to play on my demos. And by the way, we all had Lin 9000s. We were all sitting there with them. The biggest writers in town had them. We were all using them. And the drummers were still going to the studios and working. They were either programming or playing on top of them. So
Right. Yeah. Sure, sure. Is there any musician you really would like to work with?
at this point, I don't, not really, to be honest with you. Isn't that funny to say?
Uh-huh.
I don't really think like that at this point. When I had my publishing deal, I was in LA. I just was, we were all around each other, and you'd be surprised who you'd end up working with. I mean, that was the thing, it's like
Right,
you're just in the trenches, and next thing you know, you meet somebody like, for example, my brother took me over to Bobby Caldwell's house one
right,
day
yeah,
just just to hang out,
yep.
not even do music. And he's like, "Hey, play Bobby your new song. That song, Hold On, I'm telling you about. It was this old 8-track demo." And I'm over there. Next thing you know, I'm talking to Bobby Caldwell, and he's like, "Hey, here's my number, man. You want to come and watch football?" We were watching football. It was Sunday afternoon. We're just doing like a normal human
Right,
being thing.
that's right.
So he goes, "Here's my number." So I went over there, and sheepishly, I said to him, I was by myself the next week, and I go, "Hey, maybe we could write a song sometime." And he was just like, "Well, yeah." And I'm thinking, like every other writer, well, let me look at my calendar. Let me see what days I got free here. And he's like, I go, "Well, when do you want to do it?" And he's like, "Well, what about now?" And he,
Uh,
literally went over to the keyboard, and he started playing this, thing. And I started singing these melodies. I'm the melody guy.
uh,
I start singing these melodies. Ah, that's great. And next thing you know, I'm like, so talk about like at the stars aligning. I mean, I'm sitting there with Bobby Caldwell.
right, yeah,
One of the greatest songwriters of all time, and musician and singer,
oh, yeah.
and so we banged out this tune, and sadly we never got it done, and I never got a vocal on it with Bobby. And I think about I don't know, 6 months ago or so, my little brother Lauren had all these cassettes of mine, and one said demos on it. And he goes, "I know every one of these demos," but he goes, "There's this one song on there. It doesn't sound like your programming." Then he sent it to me because he digitized everything. He's good that way. And he goes, "What's that?" And I go, "That was my song I wrote with Bobby Caldwell." But it was just Bobby
Right,
playing this track.
uh-huh,
And I go, "That was it." I mean, I had lost it. I didn't even have the cassette. My little brother found it in a bag. And
wow,
I couldn't believe it. But immediately I heard the melodies that I was singing like 30 something years ago. And I came down here into my studio. I told my wife, I go, "Oh my God." And Bobby passed away, whatever, a couple of years ago. And so I was like, "Oh man." So I came down to my studio, and I go, "If Bobby was singing this, this is how he'd sing it." And I remember the melodies, and I wrote this lyric. It's like, this really funny love song. Like Bobby was the greatest at, writing sappy love songs, but making them sound incredible. And
wow,
so I wrote this song called, you know, um, Amara. And I put the little demo out there. So I came even with the cassette deck. I mean, the cassette tape with all the hits. My brother sent it to me. I put it in Logic. It doesn't line up in time with anything because it's an old cassette. And I sang what I had of it. I just get to the bridge, but I don't have anything after that. But it's out there on the internet, and
cool,
it's called Amara, Falling for Amara. Go check it out afterwards. I tried my best to sound like Bobby on that
uh-huh,
one. So,
cool,
yeah.
cool, cool. Well, Darren, it was great talking to you. New album, Let's Stop the World, Pride and Joy, came out a couple of days ago. Please support it. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Yeah, thanks for supporting this thing, and thanks for coming along for the ride. And I love what everybody's saying, is like what their favorite song is. It's great hearing what yours is.
Right.
And so there's something for everybody. And I love that. Keep that coming, and that's inspirational for us. And we'll probably end up doing something again because we've talked about it, but we'll do one song at a time.
Cool, cool.
But thank you for coming in. I thought for some reason everybody was going to be on this today, but
Yeah.
are you doing something with them, or just is
Nope,
that?
just you. Just
Oh,
you.
that's us.
Yeah.
Any when is this going to come out?
Probably today.
Oh, okay, good. Then I can
Cool.
share it or something.
Yep. Definitely.
Perfect. Well,
Cool,
thank
cool.
you for your enthusiasm for everybody's music, man, and and wanting to try and help us get out there as independents. And we appreciate you too, man. You're like a big part of like trying to help this guys. You got a big heart. You've probably always, do you play music too?
Nope, I'm a photographer.
Oh, photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
Nice.
Thanks.
It's art, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about AI? Do you ever get
Yeah.
any I
Yeah.
mean with photography, I mean once again we were talking about AI, so how do you feel
Exactly.
about AI?
Yeah. I don't like it. You know. Cool.
Yeah. Not for your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye
Appreciate
bye.
it. Bye.